All right, so this morning, camera guys showed up late. We were running a little bit behind. We were trying to get out there. We were supposed to leave, I think, at 6:30. We ended up leaving at about 7:15. And while we were at the dock there, we had a little hiccup with one of the dock hands there at the plantation, old Mr. Phil. He came up to me and he had a hook stuck in his thumb. And we had to kind of grab him because he was about ready to pass out. So we grabbed him and took him up and set him down on the bench and started trying to get the hook out. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, then even count to 3.
I know.
You ready for 3, weren't you?
Ooh, I still got to stay set down a minute.
You're good? Yeah, sit down. Now what you need to do is go put peroxide on it. I got peroxide or alcohol.
I'll wrap it up with a band.
You were waiting for 3, weren't you?
I was. Yeah. I know never again now.
Yeah.
2, 1 or 2, you're going.
Yeah. Yep. You good?
Oh yeah. All right, let me get that pole and go put it up.
Well, don't grab the speaker. Take no water with you.
I'm going to number 4.
Here, where is that pole?
I don't know.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, you took it.
Summertime fishing, what's your favorite kind of bait?
So this time of year, mainly for the redfish and the snook, I prefer to use the pinfish.
Yeah.
And we've already dumped a whole bunch in there. And
What are you using to catch these pinfish?
So we use the, I like to use sardines, threadfin. I'll buy them frozen, and then as we're heading out, I'll fill up the bucket with water, so they're kind of thawed out and they're easier to work with. And then what I'll do is we use our traps out here, and we'll take a handful. I usually actually load it up pretty good, just to know that my bait is getting out there, the scent and everything, and getting these pinfish in there. And then close it up, and then just sling it all out there and get it out here on the bottom. And all mine, I color code all mine, so I know which ones are mine out when we're out here.
Yeah.
And it usually let it just soak overnight. The pinfish will get in there and
Come back
the next morning, and it's full of bait. And like I said, all mine are color coded, so I know exactly which one's mine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And then we'll go through and pull, 2 to 3 traps.
Yeah.
Just so that we know we got enough bait. You catch, the pinfish. There's some in there already that we just pulled out of that one. Big pinfish, small pinfish. There's other things in there too. Things that we don't need, I throw them out like the spot tails, or sometimes you'll get little black sea bass in there, and I'll get rid of those and mainly just use all the pinfish that are in there. Pretty simple. All right, so this morning we got out there. We hit 2 different tarpon areas where the tarpon usually come in rolling. We sat in each spot for probably 20 to 30 minutes, just looking, me, Jalen, and Dave. And it was blowing a little bit. It's probably blowing out of the southeast, about 15. So it made it a little tough to be able to see the tarpon rolling. So after our second spot is sitting there, we kind of came in the agreement that, let's go and see if we can find us a few redfish.
Good one? Switch with me?
That's what's sitting on the way. Looks like a little red, maybe. It is. Just throw right there. I can. Nice little red. There's the pinfish. This is what we've been looking for. A little bit bigger fish here. It's been a little bit of work today. Waiting for this tide to top out and start falling. That's probably when they'll start eating. They've been doing it for the past few days. Nice little keeper right there, about 19 inches or so. Good fish on the pinfish too. Yeah, the bite this time of year, it can be a little bit of work. Sometimes you gotta wait for the tide to get high and for it to fall to get these fish going sometimes. I don't know why it happens like that, but we've definitely been working, been seeing some fish. There's not a lot of activity, but now the tide's getting high. It's gonna start falling. We're gonna give it a go and see what happens.
So Captain James Kerr, he's known very well in this area for catching big size redfish and even snook. And you know, today he brought us to many different spots. And you know, a couple of the spots we pulled up on looked very, very good. You know, we caught not the best size fish, but we caught fish. But there was a couple spots that we pulled up to that we knew we had a good chance of smoking a big one.
So today we first started off throwing lures. We were throwing paddle tails, we were throwing spoons, and that just wasn't working. Then we switched over to pinfish, and nothing was chasing. Sometimes when it's hot, you know, those redfish, they just do not like to chase down bait. So right away, you know, I kind of realized that as much as I hate using them this time of year because there are so many pinfish, we switched over to shrimp. And that was able to get the bite going, you know, because you get those shrimp out there and they just kind of sit. And the reason why I don't like doing it like, because it's more of like you're just baiting and waiting, but that's kind of what we had to do to get the bait fish eating on it, to get the attention of the redfish for them to come over to feed. Like I said, once we switched over to the shrimp, we were able to, you know, get a few fish on the boat. Bubble up right there.
Yep.
Just pick it right up along that mangrove shoreline and make it close back.
Nice little redfish on the shrimp. You know, all day we've been trying to catch them on pinfish and switch over to these shrimp. As much as some of us don't like using it, sometimes it's the way. See if I can get this hook out. Yeah, we made a little move over here, came a little bit further east, and you know, we've been working all day to catch some nice fish. Everybody's been having a tough time today catching fish, and we switched over to shrimp, and we found a little school of little rats over here, and we're gonna keep picking through them and see if we can pick up a few more, you know, a little bit bigger guys in here. Nice little fish though, you know. These guys here, they'll grow up and end up being big ones.
Yep.
Like I said, we got a pretty good fishery here for these redfish.
Yeah. That's what we want to see.
Anytime for me, getting out on the Nature Coast fishing is a good time. You know, a good day fishing beats anything else. James put us on some fish today, and we enjoyed ourselves out there a lot. I was excited to get back to the shop and kind of talk with all the other guys there about the good day of fishing we had.
So this morning we went out, we looked for some tarpon early this morning. It was blowing a little bit, so we didn't get on any, but we did look very hard. We ended up going for the redfish. What were we using to catch these redfish today?
So this morning, I'm a big bullbait guy. I was throwing the Sniper, the 7.6, 6 to 12 pound medium fast with the Shimano Stratic combined with 10 pound Power Pro Slick. And we were using 30-pound leader, which
Yep.
I use a lot of the Seagar, which works pretty good for me. It's a good all-around pound. You know, I mean, you can go up to 40 if you know you're catching snook, but you know, I like to stay around that 25 to 30-pound leader for the redfish. And then the hooks that I was using today, that we were using when we were throwing the shrimp, I was using these 4 Horseman hooks here. These are really good for one, you can get you away from the jig heads.
Yeah.
And it helps with getting hung up. And these little hooks right here, when you throw this into a shrimp, it really hides it to where, you know, it almost looks like a natural shrimp in there. And combined with this lighter leader, you know, it's pretty much invisible. Yeah. And when it hits the water, It makes it's silent. It goes in there, not like a heavy quarter ounce or some big jig or something like that. It really does a good job.
Yeah.
And then when we were throwing for the pinfish today, I like the 4/0, the Mutu light circle hooks. They work really well. Even for the smaller pinfish, they work fine. I used to use the 3s, but I think the 4s they're a little bit bigger, so they get a better hookup ratio.
Yeah.
And like I said, we caught a lot of small fish today. It was a good day. Seeing a lot of fish.
For sure.
We had to work and everything, but I think it turned out to be a pretty good day.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got all this here in stock at Sodium in our new tackle room. So make sure to come by, check us out, let us know what you think.